How to manifest a specific person, according to Neville Goddard. Most people who stumble onto Neville Goddard's work come looking for one thing. Not money, not health, not a dream career. They want a specific person, an ex, a love interest, someone who's pulled away. And Neville doesn't just say it's possible, he says it's inevitable, if you understand what you actually are. So, let's go deep on this. Not the surface-level law of attraction version. The real Neville, the mystic, the biblical interpreter, the man who taught that imagination isn't a tool you use, it's what you are. The foundation. You are God in human form. Before we get into technique, you have to grasp Neville's core premise, because without it, the methods are just rituals, with no juice behind them. Neville taught, repeatedly and without apology, that God is your own wonderful human imagination. Not a deity external to you, not a higher power somewhere in the sky. You. Your imagination is the only reality. Everything else, the physical world, other people, circumstances, is a projection of states of consciousness. In Feeling is the Secret, he writes, the world is a mirror, forever reflecting back to you the state of your consciousness. This is the operating principle. The person you want to manifest is not outside your consciousness. They are in it. They are a character in your story. That sounds harsh, but Neville's point is liberating. If they exist in your awareness, you have authority over how they show up. He goes further in the power of awareness. You are already that which you want to be, and your refusal to believe this is the only reason you do not see it. So the starting question isn't, how do I get this person to like me? The question is, what is my current assumption about this person and about myself in relation to them? Because whatever you're assuming, that's what's being reflected back. The real problem, you're manifesting from a state of lack. Here's where most people go wrong. They want someone, they feel the absence of that person intensely, and then they try to manifest from that feeling of absence. They visualize desperately. They repeat affirmations while anxious. They check the person's Instagram and then do the 369 method, and then wonder why nothing changes. Neville would say, of course nothing changes. You're broadcasting separation. In Awakened Imagination, he's explicit. The source of all life and all power is within you, and you will discover it when you cease looking outside yourself. The problem isn't your technique. The problem is your state. You're operating from a state that says, I don't have this person, and imagination faithfully creates more evidence to confirm that state. This is why Neville makes a distinction that most people miss. You are not manifesting things, you are entering states. The specific person isn't the target. The state of being loved by them, connected to them, in relationship with them, that's the target. And you have to occupy that state first, in imagination, before it appears in the world. The method. The feeling of the wish fulfilled. Neville's central technique is simple to explain and deceptively hard to do. He calls it the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You're not visualizing a future event. You're feeling the present reality of the thing already having happened. In Feeling is the Secret, he lays it out. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and observe the route that your attention follows. For a specific person, this means getting quiet, ideally just before sleep, which Neville emphasizes because the subconscious is most impressionable in that hypnagogic state between waking and sleep and feeling into a scene that implies the relationship already exists. Not a movie you're watching, a first-person experience you're living. You're not picturing their face, you're feeling their hand in yours. You're hearing their voice say something to you that implies closeness. You're feeling the warmth of that reality as if it's happening now. Neville is specific about this in The Power of Awareness. A clear concept of what you want to realize, a vivid mental image of it, and then feeling the reality of it, these are the essentials of the creative process. The feeling is the currency. The visualization is just the vehicle to generate the feeling. If you can feel it, you've done the work. Thinking from versus thinking of. This is the most important distinction in Neville's system when applied to a specific person. Most people think of the person they want. They think about them, their looks, their personality, what they said last, what they posted online. That's thinking of them. It keeps you in the position of observer, separate, longing. Neville says to think from the end. Think from inside the reality where the relationship exists. He gives a powerful example in Awakened Imagination about a woman who wanted to reconnect with a man she'd lost contact with. Instead of trying to figure out how to reach him or manipulating circumstances, Neville told her to simply enter into the feeling of the relationship already being real, to feel it from the inside, as though there was no separation at all. Within weeks, the man reached out. He happened to get her number. He coincidentally was in the area. Neville's commentary on such cases is always the same. It wasn't coincidence, it was causality. Imagination precedes physical manifestation because imagination is the deeper reality. The mirror principle and other people. Now we have to address the uncomfortable part. Can you really change another person's behavior through your imagination? Is that ethical? Are you imposing your will on them? Neville's answer: you cannot change anyone. You can only change your assumption of them. But here's the thing. When your assumption changes, the person you perceive changes, because you're perceiving them differently. And perception, in this framework, is reality. He makes this clear in The Law and the Promise, where he documents real cases submitted by his students. One woman was in a hostile workplace, being undermined by a specific colleague. On Neville's instruction, she stopped rehearsing the colleague's bad behavior in her mind and began imagining the colleague as friendly, cooperative, warm. The colleague's behavior shifted within weeks, not because the colleague was hypnotized, but because the woman's inner assumption had shifted, and she was now seeing a different person and drawing out a different response. This is the mirror principle, made personal. In Resurrection, Neville writes, "The being you are looking for is the being who is looking. The person outside you is reflecting the person inside you. Change the inner, the outer must follow." The SATS technique. State akin to sleep. Neville's most practical technique for manifesting a specific person is what he calls SAT, state akin to sleep. This is the drowsy, half-awake state just before sleep, where the conscious, critical mind loosens its grip and the subconscious becomes receptive. The process is this. First, compose a short scene. A single, simple scene that implies your desired outcome already exists. Not a complicated story. One moment. Maybe they call you. Maybe you're sitting together. Maybe they say something specific to you that only makes sense if the relationship is real. Keep it short enough to replay like a loop. Second, enter the SAT state. Lie down. Relax completely. Let your body get heavy. Don't fall asleep, hover at that threshold. Third, run the scene. Feel it. Hear it. Sense the texture of it. Let it feel real, not imagined. Fourth, and this is crucial, let go. Don't grip it. Don't anxiously check whether it felt real enough. Sleep. Neville in feeling is the secret. Just before you drop off to sleep, the state of consciousness is called the hypnagogic state. Your thoughts at that moment are realized in your world. He calls sleep itself a creative act. What you impress upon the subconscious in that state gets worked out in the physical world while you're sleeping, and then in the days and weeks that follow. Revision, rewriting the past. One of Neville's most underused tools for manifesting a specific person is revision. If you've had a painful interaction with someone, a fight, a rejection, a cold conversation, that event is stored in your subconscious as a template. Your imagination keeps replaying it, reinforcing the state of separation. Neville says, go back and rewrite it. In The Law and the Promise, he teaches revision, explicitly going into imagination and replaying a past event as you wish it had gone, not as it happened, as you wanted it to happen. This isn't delusion. It's an understanding that time, in Neville's framework, isn't linear. The past you keep rehearsing is a present act of imagination. You're creating it right now, so create a better version. If someone rejected you, revise it. Feel them welcoming you. Hear them saying yes. Feel the warmth of that alternative. then let it go. Neville saw multiple documented cases where this technique altered not just internal feeling, but external reality, people reporting that the other person's attitude had genuinely softened, or that the person brought up the past event and referenced it in a way that aligned more with the revised version than the original. The assumption that must die. Finally, the deepest thing Neville says about manifesting a specific person and about manifestation in general. Your current experience of this person is the result of your current assumption. If you assume they're uninterested, distant, unavailable, you will perceive and receive exactly that. Not because they are that, but because that's the story your imagination is running. The assumption that has to die is the one keeping the separation alive. This might be, I'm not enough for them. It might be, they're not interested in me. It might be, this situation is too far gone. Whatever it is, that's what you're actually manifesting. In The Power of Awareness, Neville writes one of his most direct lines. Man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. There is no outside force keeping this person from you. There is only your current assumption. And assumptions can be changed. That's the whole teaching. Change the assumption. Feel the new reality. Sleep on it. Let the world catch up. Not as a trick, not as a manipulation, but as the most honest account of how reality actually works, according to a man who spent 40 years proving it. Dare to assume you are what you want to be. Wear it like a garment, and your world will reflect it. Neville Goddard.